All right, get ready to dive into Tokyo with us today. We're using this excerpt from Explore the Wonders of Tokyo to uncover what makes the city so captivating, but we'll be going way beyond just the typical tourist spots.
Yeah, Tokyo is really a fascinating place. You wouldn't believe how the ultra-modern and the deeply traditional managed to not just coexist, but actually thrive together.
It really makes you rethink what a city can be.
It really does.
Okay, let's jump right in with a landmark that everyone knows, Tokyo Tower. Now, I know what you might be thinking, just another tower, right?
Right.
But this one has a cool story behind it, right? It was actually inspired by the Eiffel Tower.
That's right. And it might seem like a simple fact, but it actually says a lot about Japan's ambitions after World War II.
How so?
Well, picture this. It's the 1950s, Japan is rebuilding, trying to get back on the world stage, and they choose to echo a really iconic Western structure.
Instead of something more traditional.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
wasn't just about aesthetics, it was making a statement.
Like, hey, we're back and ready to reach new heights. And speaking of heights, I bet those panoramic views from Tokyo Tower are just incredible.
Oh, absolutely. You get a fantastic view to really grasp the scale and diversity of the city. But one thing I find especially cool is the nighttime light show.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that. It's not just functional lighting, they turn it into a whole artistic display.
Exactly. They illuminate the tower in a way that transforms it into a real beacon.
A symbol of Tokyo's vibrant energy.
Exactly. It's like a reminder that this city never sleeps.
And speaking of energy, is there any place that embodies that more than Shibuya Crossing?
You got it. Imagine. You're standing there surrounded by a sea of people as the crosswalk lights change. Thousands of people all moving in a perfectly orchestrated flow. It's the busiest intersection in the world.
I've seen videos, but I still don't think I can really grasp how crazy it is. It's like organized chaos.
It really is, and it's a testament to Japanese concepts of shared space and social order.
Hmm.
There's this unspoken understanding of personal space and collective responsibility that allows for that kind of density without total chaos.
Wow, that's incredible. All right, let's shift gears completely and step back in time. We're heading to Senso-ji Temple, the oldest temple in Tokyo.
This is where that juxtaposition of the modern and the ancient really becomes tangible.
Hmm.
Imagine you're walking through the bustling Nakami's street with its traditional shops, the smell of incense filling the air, and then you arrive at this serene oasis.
It's a testament to centuries of history and spirituality.
It is.
I bet it feels like stepping into a different world. So, beyond just admiring the architecture, what would you say is the key experience a visitor should have at Sensoji?
Well, close your eyes for a second and picture it. You hear the rhythmic chanting of the monks. You smell that sweet scent of incense. You see the colors of the temple against the backdrop of the sky.
Wow, I can almost picture it.
It's about engaging all of your senses, feeling a connection to something ancient and timeless.
Now, while we're on the theme of tradition, we have to mention the Imperial Palace. I know you can't actually go inside, but what can you experience there?
Well, even from the outside, the Imperial Palace is such a powerful symbol. You see the vast gardens, the meticulous architecture, and it gives you a glimpse into a world that feels like it moves at a different pace.
Right, like a world governed by rituals and traditions that have been around for centuries.
Exactly.
It really makes you think, how does a city as modern and fast-paced as Tokyo maintain such a strong connection to its past?
That's a question that goes to the heart of what makes Tokyo so unique. They haven't just tossed aside the past, it's woven into their present. The Imperial Palace is like a constant reminder of that heritage, even amidst all the skyscrapers and neon lights.
So true. Okay, time to jump back to the 21st century, maybe even a little beyond. We're going to Akihabara, Tokyo's electric town.
Akihabara is a must-see for anyone fascinated by technology and pop culture. Forget shopping malls. This is sensory overload.
I've heard it described as Times Square on hyperdrive.
It really is.
So what makes Akihabara truly unique, beyond just the sheer volume of electronics and anime?
Well, it's a place where that line between reality and fantasy really blurs.
How so?
Well, you might walk past a store selling the latest AI-powered robot and then stumble into a cafe where the waitresses are dressed as anime characters. It's really a testament to Japan's love for both innovation and imagination.
Wow, that's wild. And speaking of blurring the lines between reality and fantasy, let's head over to Odaiba, that futuristic island in Tokyo Bay.
Odaiba is like a glimpse into the future. You have the massive Gundam statue.
A symbol of Japan's obsession with giant robots.
Exactly. And then there's the Teen Lab Borderless Museum, where digital art installations completely immerse you in a world of light and sound.
Wow. So it's more than just a tourist attraction. It's like an experiment in how we interact with technology and art.
I think it reflects Japan's ongoing conversation with technology and how it shapes their lives, their culture, and their dreams for the future. Odaiba isn't just about flashy gadgets and installations. It's about exploring what it means to be human in an increasingly digital world.
That's really interesting. Okay, we've experienced the energy of Shibuya, the history of Senso-ji, the futuristic vision of Odaiba. But I have to imagine Tokyo also offers a chance to escape from all that urban frenzy, right?
Absolutely. Even in a city as densely populated as Tokyo, you can find pockets of tranquility and natural beauty. Take Meiji Shrine, for example.
I've heard of that one. It's a Shinto shrine dedicated to Emperor Meiji and Empress Shokin, right? But what makes it so special, so different from all the other shrines and temples in Tokyo?
Okay, picture this. You step off the bustling city streets, and suddenly you're in a serene forest.
A green oasis in the heart of the urban sprawl.
Exactly. Meiji Shrine is a place where you can reconnect with nature, find a moment of quiet reflection.
Experience a sense of peace.
You got it. It's hard to come by in a city like Tokyo.
Right. So it's almost like a reminder that nature is always present, even in the most urban of environments.
Exactly. It speaks to the Japanese appreciation for nature and its restorative power. Even amidst all the hustle and bustle, they recognize the importance of finding balance.
Of seeking out those moments of tranquility.
Exactly.
Okay, we've explored ancient temples, futuristic islands, even a forest sanctuary. But I have a feeling Tokyo has something for everyone, right, Wei?
Oh, yeah.
What about those of us who love art, nightlife, and incredible city views?
You just described Roppongi Hills. It's a complex that blends art, entertainment, and urban sophistication. You can wander through the Mori Art Museum, which showcases contemporary art from around the world, and then head to the observation deck for panoramic views.
Wow, and then head out to enjoy the nightlife?
Of course. Roppongi is known for its nightlife.
So it's like a microcosm of Tokyo itself. Diverse, dynamic, constantly evolving.
It is.
It really makes you think. With so much to see and do, how do you even begin to plan a trip to Tokyo?
That's the beauty of it. There's no right or wrong way.
You just have to find what speaks to you.
Exactly. Whether that's the historical sites, the modern marvels, the vibrant street life, or those moments of quiet reflection.
All right, and before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, we have to talk about food. I mean, no exploration of Tokyo would be complete without mentioning the culinary scene.
Absolutely right. We touched on a few highlights earlier.
Like Tsukiji Outer Market.
Yeah, but there's so much more to explore.
So let's dive into the world of Tokyo's food scene in the next part of our deep dive. Get ready for ramen, izakayas, and maybe even some culinary surprises.
Sounds good. All right, let's talk ramen. Tokyo is basically a ramen paradise.
Okay.
But it's more than just a quick meal.
Right.
Each bowl tells a story.
Really?
It reflects regional variations, these meticulous techniques.
Wow.
It's really about the chef's dedication to their craft.
So it's not just slurping down noodles.
Not at all.
You're saying there's like nuances to appreciate.
Exactly.
I'm intrigued. Break it down for me. What makes Tokyo ramen so special?
Okay, think about the broth. You've got the rich and creamy tonkatsu that's been simmered for hours with pork bones, or the lighter, more delicate shoyu with that soy sauce base.
Okay.
And then you've got the toppings, marinated eggs, bamboo shoots, roasted pork belly, seaweed, all kinds of things.
So much variety.
Yeah.
I can see why people get obsessed with ramen. It's like a blank canvas for culinary creativity.
It is.
But beyond just the taste, what does the ramen culture in Tokyo tell us about the city itself?
I think it's really a microcosm of Tokyo's ability to take something simple and elevate it to an art form. You'll find these tiny ramen shops tucked away in little alleyways.
Oh, wow.
Each with its own loyal following. And then you've got these ramen museums.
Really?
Dedicated to the history and evolution of this dish.
Okay, I'm officially adding ramen crawl to my Tokyo itinerary.
Yeah, good one.
But let's not forget about the social side of dining. What about those izakayas you mentioned? I'm picturing something cozy, something lively, but tell me more.
Okay, imagine this. You walk into this warm, inviting space, and it's filled with the sounds of laughter and conversation.
Okay.
The air is filled with the aroma of grilled skewers and savory pancakes.
Ooh, that sounds pretty amazing.
That's an izakaya.
Okay, so like cheers, but with a Japanese twist.
Pretty much.
It's not just about the food, it's about the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's about the shared experience.
That sounds fun.
It's a place to unwind after work, catch up with friends, savor a variety of small dishes, each perfectly paired with a cold beer or some sake.
So you get to sample a little bit of everything.
Exactly.
Okay, we've got ramen for the soul, izakayas for, like, the social butterfly.
Right.
But what about those of us with a sweet tooth? Does Tokyo have anything to offer dessert lovers?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Get ready to enter the world of wagashi, traditional Japanese sweets that are as beautiful as they are delicious.
wagashi.
They often feature seasonal ingredients, red bean paste, mochi fruit, all crafted with incredible artistry.
Okay, so I'm picturing these delicate little works of art, almost too pretty to eat.
Right.
But what makes wagashi so different from, say, a slice of chocolate cake?
Well, it's all about subtlety and balance. Wagashi are designed to appeal to all of the senses, so the visual presentation is just as important as the taste and texture.
Okay.
And they're meant to evoke the beauty of nature and those changing seasons.
Wow, that's a whole different way of thinking about dessert.
It is.
It's not just about satisfying a craving, it's about experiencing a moment of beauty, a moment of harmony.
Exactly.
But I have to ask, with all these amazing restaurants and cafes, is there even a place for street food in Tokyo?
Of course. Tokyo's street food scene is just as vibrant and diverse as the city itself. Imagine. You're walking down this narrow street with vendors selling steaming bowls of udon noodles to crispy takoyaki.
Those octopus balls, right?
Right.
Okay, so it's not just about grabbing a quick bite, it's about being part of the energy of the city.
Yeah, definitely.
What are some, like, must-try street food experiences?
Well, you can't go wrong with a classic yakitori skewer, grilled over hot coals, seasoned with a savory glaze.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah. And if you're feeling adventurous, try okonomiyaki.
Okay, so remind me what that is again.
It's a savory pancake, and it's filled with cabbage, meat, or seafood, all cooked on a hot griddle.
Okay, my stomach is officially rumbling.
Mine too.
So it sounds like Tokyo's culinary scene is this incredible blend of tradition and innovation,
It really is.
with something to satisfy every taste and budget. But, we've been focused on the food itself. What about zooming out a bit? What is Tokyo's layout, the way it's structured? Tell us about the city and its people.
Oh, that's a great point. The urban landscape is a fascinating reflection of Tokyo's history and its values.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What should we be paying attention to?
Well, let's start with that juxtaposition of old and new. You might find a traditional wooden house right next to a skyscraper.
I have seen pictures of that, yeah.
It's a visual reminder that they haven't erased the past. It's part of the present.
That's so cool.
Ah,
And what about those narrow, winding streets? I've seen pictures of those too. They're often lined with small shops and businesses, very different from like those big, wide avenues you see in other cities.
exactly. And those narrow streets, they encourage a slower pace.
Okay.
It's about fostering connections with both people and the environment. And speaking of connections, let's talk about their amazing public transportation.
The trains,
Yeah.
they're legendary, right? Efficient and always on time.
Oh, yeah.
But what does that tell us about Tokyo, beyond just getting from A to B?
Well, I think it reflects a deep respect for the collective good
Hmm.
and social responsibility.
Okay.
The transportation system relies on everyone following the rules,
Right.
respecting each other's time.
It's a system built on trust.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just about getting around, it's a reflection of their values.
It is.
But with all the skyscrapers and the bustling streets, is there any space for nature in Tokyo?
Oh, even in a city as densely populated as Tokyo, you'll find pockets of green spaces. Whether it's a park or a tiny garden tucked away in a corner, they're essential.
They're not just decorative, they
Right.
really value those spaces.
They do.
So it's like they've figured out how to balance the built environment with the natural world.
Precisely. And that's a concept that's deeply rooted in Japanese culture.
Hmm.
It's expressed through art and philosophy and even urban design.
If we were to look at Tokyo from above, what would we see? Would it be concrete and steel?
You'd see a city that's surprisingly livable, even with its huge scale.
Wow.
There's a human-centric approach to urban planning. They've made it technologically advanced, but also a great place to live.
So they've figured out how to have it all, the energy, the innovation, and a connection to nature and human scale.
I think so. Tokyo really is a testament to the power of thoughtful urban planning.
Okay, so we've covered iconic landmarks, hidden gems, the food, even the city's layout. But there's one crucial element we haven't fully explored, The people.
Ah, yes, the heart and soul of Tokyo.
Exactly. What are some of the key things that stand out about Tokyoites beyond the typical stereotypes?
Well, I think one of the most striking things is their sense of courtesy and respect for others.
Mm.
You'll notice it in the public transportation system.
How so?
The orderly queues, the politeness.
Right. We've all heard about how polite the Japanese are. But what are some specific examples? How does this manifest in everyday life?
It's the little things. Taking off your shoes before entering someone's home, bowing slightly when you greet someone,
Right.
waiting your turn instead of pushing ahead.
So even in a city as crowded as Tokyo, they create a sense of shared space.
Yeah, it's about respecting boundaries. It's
Ah.
recognizing that your actions impact others
Hmm.
and taking responsibility for creating a harmonious environment. And this goes beyond just interactions. It's in how they care for the city.
How they value cleanliness and order.
Exactly.
So this sense of courtesy and respect isn't just a personal trait, it's woven into the fabric of their society.
I think so.
But what else defines the spirit of Tokyoites?
Well, despite the fast-paced life, there's this strong sense of community and tradition.
Oh, wow.
You see it in their local festivals, neighborhood shrines, the way
Yeah.
they celebrate their heritage.
It's like they've kept that small town charm, even in a big city. How do they balance that sense of tradition with Tokyo's drive for innovation and change?
It's a tricky balance,
Hmm.
but I think they managed to pull it off pretty well. They respect their past, but they're not afraid of the future.
It's like they're both rooted and forward-looking at the same time.
Yeah.
But with all this talk of harmony and respect, does that mean there's no room for individuality in Tokyo? I mean, don't people feel pressure to conform?
That's a great question, and it's a common misconception.
Okay.
Japanese culture is much more nuanced than that.
So help me understand this. How does Tokyo, a city that seems to value conformity, also embrace individual expression?
Think about Akihabara,
Okay.
the subcultures, those quirky things.
Right.
It shows how Tokyo embraces individual expression within a framework of social harmony.
So it's not about stifling individuality, it's about expressing it in a way that doesn't disrupt the balance?
Yeah, I think so. It's about finding your own way to contribute to the city's energy and diversity while still respecting those shared values.
It's not individualism versus collectivism, it's about making them work together.
Exactly.
How does that play out in everyday life? Let's take, for example, work culture. Japan is known for long work hours, dedication to the company.
Right. That idea of group harmony is strong. It emphasizes loyalty and teamwork.
So it's less about individual ambition, more about working together towards a common goal.
Right.
But doesn't that risk stifling creativity and innovation?
I mean, it's a complex system. It can foster unity, but it might also make people reluctant to challenge things.
So it's a balancing act, like so many things in Tokyo.
It is.
Finding that sweet spot between individual expression and collective responsibility.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we've explored the landmarks, the food, the layout, even the spirit of the people, but I feel like we're just scratching the surface.
Oh, Tokyo is a city of constant discovery.
There's always more to uncover, more to experience.
Yeah, and it's a city that really rewards curiosity.
It challenges your perceptions.
It expands your horizon.
And it leaves you wanting more.
It does.
So, for anyone listening who wants to explore Tokyo further, what's one piece of advice?
Don't be afraid to get lost. Wander those streets, go in the shops, talk to the locals. The magic of Tokyo is in those unexpected moments, those moments that reveal the city's soul.
Don't follow a checklist, embrace the journey.
Yes. Let yourself be surprised.
On that note, I think we've come to the end of this part of our deep dive into Tokyo,
Yeah,
but there's still more to uncover.
there is. We have one final aspect of Tokyo to discuss.
That unique character, its soul.
Exactly.
So let's delve into what makes Tokyo so captivating in the final part of our deep dive. We've talked about the landmarks and the food, that crazy layout, and even gotten a feel for the people, but what really sticks with you about Tokyo? What makes it so captivating?
It's a feeling,
Yeah.
like an energy. It's hard to put into words.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's like you see how ancient traditions and futuristic technology exist together, not just next to each other, but woven together.
Okay, yeah.
It's part of the city's fabric.
We talked earlier about finding harmony within the collective. Is that what we're getting at here? But on a bigger scale.
I think so. Remember what we said about individuality?
Yeah.
Tokyo isn't about getting rid of your unique self. It's figuring out how that self fits into this larger whole.
Right. On the surface, it seems like everyone's doing their own thing. You've got the Harajuku fashion, the anime, everyone being so expressive.
Yeah, but under that, there's a real respect for the collective good, for keeping things harmonious.
And somehow it all works. It's not about standing out at the expense of others.
Right. It's about finding your own way to contribute to the city's energy.
Yeah, and it works.
Think about Shibuya Crossing.
Yeah.
All those people. Everyone's got somewhere to be, but they move through that space with such coordination and respect.
As an outsider, you'd expect it to be overwhelming, but it's not.
It's the paradox of Tokyo, right?
Right.
It embraces both the individual and the group, the chaos and the harmony. It's what makes it so fascinating.
So how does this individual expression within a collective, how does that play out in other parts of life in Tokyo?
Take work culture, for example.
Okay.
Japan is known for its long work hours, the loyalty to the company.
Right.
But it's not about blind obedience.
What is it about then?
It's understanding your role within the team,
Right.
contributing to the shared goal.
So it's less about individual ambition.
Right.
And more about working together, finding satisfaction in the group's success.
Exactly. It's so different from the way we think about work here.
And of course, like anything, it has its good and bad sides.
It does.
What I'm getting from all this is that Tokyo really makes you think differently about how cities can work, how people can thrive in a place that's so densely populated, so fast-paced.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes Tokyo so captivating, ultimately.
Yeah.
It expands our definitions. It challenges our ideas about city life, about society itself.
It's like Tokyo isn't just a city, it's an idea.
Wow, yeah.
An idea that keeps evolving, pushing those boundaries, but staying true to itself.
I love that. And maybe that's why people are drawn back to Tokyo again and again. They're drawn to that energy, those contradictions. It never stops reinventing itself.
I'm definitely adding Tokyo to my travel bucket list. But I have to ask, do you think you can ever really get Tokyo just by reading about it, by watching videos?
No, you have to experience Tokyo for yourself.
Right.
You need to feel it, to taste it, smell it.
Yeah, I think I get that.
It's a city that really awakens all your senses. It forces you to connect with the world in a new way.
So what advice would you give to someone who is feeling inspired to explore Tokyo?
Don't be afraid to get lost. Just wander those streets, step into those little shops, start a conversation with someone.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The magic of Tokyo is in those unexpected moments, the little things that show you the city's soul.
So it's not about the checklist.
Wow.
Embrace the journey. Let yourself be surprised.
Oh, yep.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the wonders of Tokyo.
Yeah, I think so too.
Thanks for being our guide on this journey.
It's been a pleasure. And to all of you listening, I encourage you to keep exploring. Whether you're planning a trip or just letting your mind wander, I hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and given you a taste of what makes Tokyo so special.
Until next time, happy travels.